Welcome, everybody, to the Does That Make Sense podcast. Today is episode 4. I was thinking about this when I was getting ready for the day today to go to work. I was like, man, I can't believe that we're going to be recording the 4th episode already. It's been super fun. The feedback's been great. We're going to talk about, we had a couple segments that some people have responded to on YouTube with some comments and in some text messages. So we're going to talk about some of those segments today. Over behind the camera today, I've got my producer, Brandon, who is here. He's just off camera. He's mic'd up. Brandon, how's it going, man?
I'm doing all right today. How you doing, boss?
I'm good, man. I am excited. We got, I got a vacation coming up. I'm going to be leaving on Friday for Pawleys Island, South Carolina. And I think that we've been going to this vacation for, I don't know, like 20 some years, a little over 20 years. I've only missed 1 year. It was my anniversary. It was my honeymoon. I took my wife to Jamaica instead. I'm still mad at her about going to Jamaica instead of Pawleys. That's a joke. I'm kidding. She was fine. And so, yeah, so today it's been fun getting this thing going. I'm excited. Today we have a special guest that I'm excited to talk to because and we'll get into it after I introduce her. I'm excited to bring her in, but she has played a key part in this. We're going to talk a little bit about how we ended up here. But before we do that, I just want to give a shout out to AMW Promotions. It's marketing media company. We're in a building where AMW Promotions does a bunch of print material. So if you're in the market for t-shirts or hoodies or swag or anything like that, check out amwpromotions.org for like a form to fill out to get pricing and quotes and all kinds of stuff. There's, like I said, there's coffee mugs, there's, the tumbler things, there's all kinds of stuff that we can do. And so amwpromotions.org, check it out. We're super excited about that. So my guest today is an employee of, she works with Safe House. She works with the food service company. She is, we're going to get into all of it, but she knows a lot about cocktails. She used to work down in the Nashville area and came up here. She's got family up here. We're going to get into it all. But I want to welcome her and give a big thanks to Ali Harpster. Welcome to the podcast. How are you?
Good. Thanks for having me.
It's exciting. I got to say right off the get-go that I'm super excited to have you sitting in because I told you that I don't know, a year ago, like, I think I want to do a podcast one day. And you were taking notes, or we were in a meeting, or you were doing something, and you stopped everything you're doing. You looked me square in the eye and you said with a ton of conviction, I think you should do that because I think people need to hear what you have to say.
100%.
And that was super. I just want to say thanks and kind of shout that out because it was kind of a push that I was like, man, it kind of planted the seed. I mean, it was already there and I wanted to do it, but it's always nice to hear that validation. So thanks for
Yeah, I was actually talking to our secretary at Safe House, and I was telling her I'm on my way to go do Andy's podcast, and she was like, Andy has a podcast? And I was like, yeah. And honestly, out of all that he's doing, wonderful CEO, all of the above, I was like, this is my favorite thing to see him do. It's like one of those things where I knew this is like what you were meant to do right here, because you give so many people advice.
Yeah.
You help so many people. Everybody needs to hear it in some way, shape, or form.
Cool. Well, I appreciate it. That was very nice. So what I want to do is we're going to give you a second just to kind of give a little bit of I mean, I'll ask some questions. This is not a job interview. Or maybe it is.
I'm fine with that at this point.
So no, I want to take a minute. You and I met years ago. I mean, you were out of were you in high school?
I want to say it was my senior year. It was either my senior year of high school or it was my freshman year of college.
And you started college up this way because you grew up, you went to Brookfield High School, right?
Yep.
And so you were in Brookfield. And then when you started school, where'd you start?
I went to Youngstown State.
Okay. So you were up here. And then it was after that you moved. You went to Nashville or Florida? Where'd you go first?
Florida first. God, that seems like a lifetime ago.
Right.
Florida first. I transferred to Florida Gulf Coast University.
Okay. And then you were there for how many years?
In Florida, I was there for 6 years, I think. And then Nashville was 4.
Was that 6 years, really?
Yeah, because I was gone for all of my 20s.
Yeah. And then you moved to Nashville from there. And so you used to come to, and we can get into as much of this or as little as you want, and I'll let you drive that. But part of what I did with Refuge is we tried to provide, I don't want to say counseling because it wasn't like a licensed thing. Like there wasn't like an oversight of a board. It was more like a pastoral kind of like advice, like life coach type situation. And so I would do that with middle schoolers and with high schoolers. We would do it as a group. There would be a lot of kids that would come in. We would do like the devotions at the after school program. That was more targeted and focused towards that middle school kind of younger high school range. And then I think that we got connected originally because of mutual friends originally.
Yeah, it was,
right?
it was, I think, Sarah and Alyssa.
Yeah. Shout out Sarah and Alyssa.
Yeah, my friends Sarah and Alyssa. Yeah, so
we get
and
to
Brittany,
see if
actually.
we get to see if they actually listen. Because
yeah, I'm not telling them.
No, if we can't tell them, and then if they listen, they'll let us know. And if we don't hear from them, then they're dead to us.
Dead in the ground. Brittany, Sarah, Alyssa. Yeah, I think those were the three that actually spent time with you, because Alyssa was more connected to you through your wife.
Yes.
Through dance. She
danced with Steph. Like Steph was her teacher forever. And so, yeah, the world's kind of mixed, oddly.
Yeah, and then I think Sarah and Brittany were volunteering with you.
They were. And I knew Sarah because of her sister, and there was like a church youth group connection. So there was all these different things. And everybody, and ironically enough, I met Steph. I don't know. Have I told you how I met Steph? Have you heard the story?
It's been a long time.
So Steph was the major ed advisor at Brookfield High School.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
So this is just one of those things where those worlds collide, because I used to go to the Brookfield High School football games because two of the band members, one majorette and one band member, and the band director, I knew, because the band director used to do like the lead praise and worship at the church that my dad was a pastor of. And then two of the students that were in the band used to come to our summer camps.
Now, what was his name again? Do you remember?
Well, his government name or his nickname?
Government.
His government name is Elza.
Yes. Okay. Yeah.
His Elza Wright. Shout out Elza.
He was our music teacher too.
We know him as Spike. Like it was Spike Wright, right? His name is Spike to us. So when everybody said like, "Oh, you know Elza," I'd be like, "I have no idea who you're talking about. I know Spike." And so he was the praise and worship director at the church that we went to. I say praise and worship director like it was this massive church. Like he led praise and worship for the church. And he was great. I mean, he's the kind of guy that can pick up any instrument and fiddle around with it, and then he would know how to play it. So, we loved him. I love him still. Every band night, he's still the band director at Brookfield.
Oh, wow.
And actually, I think it's today, but Hubbard's band night is happening tonight. It's not when this drops, but as we're recording, it's happening right now. And I always go because my daughter does majorette for a day. Well, since
cute.
we're leaving for like vacation and like it's been a busy week with some prep stuff, she didn't want to do it tonight. So we actually, for the first time, this was my night to go catch up with Spike. Like I would normally go to the band night and I'd walk across to the Brookfield place where they were standing at Hubbard's band night. "What's up, man?" And we would catch up. So
that's crazy.
now I'm just realizing I'm not going to see him. Like this is the one time a year that I know I'm going to see him. And so, anyway, to talk about how we met, I went to the band nights I went to the football games rather, because I wanted to see the band. After one of the games one night, those two students that I knew came up to me and said, "We think you should meet our major ed advisor. We think you two should date." And I remember thinking, there's no way that my story about how I met my wife is going to be because two high school girls played matchmaker with me and a random girl, right?
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And then the major ed advisor, Steph, my wife, walked up and like said something to the major ed about how she like fell out of a turn during the dance routine or whatever, and did a very Steph dance teacher thing. And when she walked away, I was like, she's kind of cute actually. Do you guys want to find out if she's got a boyfriend? You know what I mean? And I was like, I was like, there's no way that anything's going to come of this. And sure enough, it did. And they asked her the next week, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And later on, months later, when Steph and I are dating, she tells me this story and she's like, "I was so weirded out by them asking me all these questions about whether or not I had a boyfriend." I was like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like, "That guy, da, 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 da." And she said, "Isn't he like a youth pastor?" And they were like, "Yeah, he's super cool." And she's like, "I don't do youth pastors."
She's like, "Ew."
Yeah, she was very ick factor, right? You know, those TikToks where girls just line the ick factors up.
Yep.
Youth pastor would have been at the top of Steph's list.
Yeah, because icks weren't a thing back then.
Yeah, no.
If they were, done.
Over. And so it's ironic because you went to Brookfield. At this point, we didn't have that connection. We didn't have that. We didn't know each other. We didn't know each other existed.
I was just sitting in the stands while you were finding your
When I was
wife.
flirting around, yeah, with the major ed advisor, just picking up single ladies at the football games.
My gosh.
And so it was after that you came to Refuge, and you leveraged, I don't know how I want to say it. You can be more clear on it, but you leveraged that opportunity to get some life advice or whatever, you know?
Yeah, I remember. I was thinking about it the other day because I was like, we're going to talk about how we met. And I'm like, I remember how we met, but I don't remember why. And then I was like digging deep, and I was talking to, I think, Alyssa the one day. And it was like, I had just gone through a breakup, and I was like, my first heartbreak, devastated, couldn't get off the couch.
Yeah.
And Sarah and Alyssa, I think, were like, okay, like, we need to take you to see Andy. And I was
I
like,
didn't know that part.
I was
Yeah.
like, who do I need to go see?
Yeah.
Like, I
Who's
don't
this-
even want to get up right now.
This guy can't.
And they were like, no, like, he's really good with advice. I don't know if Alyssa was involved, but I definitely remember Sarah was involved.
I remember Alyssa never leveraged that same like opportunity because her connection to me was through Steph. So I think that there was a little bit of, if she ever needed it, she never was like, yeah, I'm going to come to you. But Sarah, I remember Sarah, there would be similar conversations.
So it was
would
probably
be like,
Sarah and Britt then.
Yeah, maybe.
Because Britt volunteered with you.
Yeah. And I remember there was one other one that, her name, Alina's her name.
Oh, yeah,
And
Alina.
she volunteered, and it was Alina, Britt, and then Sarah. They actually helped
I
plan
forgot about that.
They actually helped plan a garden. I mean, these were some cool days. And then, yeah, super fun. And it just goes to show like life so much can happen in such a short span of life. Like, I feel like I haven't been alive long enough to have all of these stories,
Yeah.
but I also feel like there's been 100 lifetimes in the 41 years I've been alive. So it's weird to think about.
I'm just thinking about it. It's so funny. They're literally out there volunteering in the dirt, doing the hard work. And then I just show up and I'm like, hey, I need advice. And then 10 years later, I need a job.
Yeah, never got in the dirt one time.
Never. Now I'm payback.
But we'll talk about it. We'll talk about that too. And so we met through that, and then that was the extent of our relationship and our connection, our engagement as two humans was I gave advice to you in a difficult time. And then fast forward, you moved down to Florida. There's nothing like I think that we ended up being Facebook friends because that's what happened, you know, in this time frame. If you met somebody, you're like, you go to Facebook, and then, you know, that's what happened. And so I knew where you were. I had seen updates, excuse me. And then you moved back up to Nashville, still no connection. And then randomly one day, I mean, this was 6 to 8 years after our last conversation, I got a phone call. I think. Did you call me?
I think so. Yeah. I think it was another breakup.
I think so too. Or you were struggling with something in the similar vein, and
Yeah.
you said, hey, this is weird.
Yeah.
Da, 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 da. And we ended up talking 2-3 times a week for maybe a month or so.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Because then I came home to visit, and then I met up with you in person. I think
Yeah.
I think that was the timeline.
Right. And then you came up. And so that situation, you were great. And you did fine. Like, I think you would have been fine even without calling me and getting advice. But I always love to be able to give like a third party, like kind of bird's eye perspective on things. And we've talked about this before too. Part of why I went back to get a master's degree in mental health counseling. And I didn't quite finish because our third child was born, and I was like, I don't want to do all of these things at the same time. But one thing that I've always really worked hard to do, and I know, especially when it comes to like being a licensed counselor, is that it's like advice is not the priority. It's about encouraging people to like figure out how to make these decisions like on their own, right? Because they have to live with them. It's easy to look at somebody and be like, here's what I think you should do. But then if it doesn't work, that person has somebody to blame, right? It takes away the responsibility of the individual. I'm going to talk a little bit about that after I won't ramble that with you, but it's important because there's, we talked about that a lot, and there was sometimes where I'm like, I'm not going to tell you what to do, but I think it's important to, encourage somebody to make decisions on their own. And you came up when you were visiting family, and I'll never forget this because this was kind of the turning point. You brought me a gift card, and you said, I just want to say thank you so much. Like the advice you gave and the talk, and it like really helped me out. And it was very kind. And then I said, well, if you're going to do that, let's meet at the office so I can show you. kind of what we're doing now.
Yeah, because at this point, I didn't even know Safe House existed.
Right.
Which
You
is
only
one
remember what the building that we're in.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like I remember tears in this office, in this
Because it was my
old
actual
office.
work office.
Yeah. And then it's funny because anytime I do work upstairs, I just like anytime I have to go in that upstairs old office, I'm like, oh, the memories that are haunting me right now.
So I had an office upstairs. We're in the basement of the refuge building. And I used to have an office here. This room, I said that in the first episode. And that's why I like that we're doing this here, because somehow everything ends up coming full circle. But I did have an office upstairs, and you were a key, there was a lot of like benchmark moments that happened there through this process too. And so you came to Safe House, you brought me a gift card, which that restaurant was amazing, by the way.
Shout out Muscarella's in Sharpsville.
Yeah, Alyssa works there.
Yes, she does.
Yeah, so we're talking about Alyssa again. So
request her as a server, but tip her well.
Yes, I requested her as a server one time. I got somebody else. I told that person that I requested Alyssa as a server, and my service was terrible.
Oh,
I'm just kidding. She was fine, but she did give me a hard time. She was like, "Well, I'm not as good as Alyssa," and I said, "Listen, I don't want to be rude, but no,
no one is
the best." I like Muscarella's be a sponsor. I'm just kidding.
Muscarella's, what is it? Their filet tips and gnocchi.
That's what I get every time.
Me too. Never anything else.
Yeah. I remember if you're listening to this and you go to Muscarella's, I remember when they changed their menu and the make your own pasta went away.
Oh, people lost their minds.
Yeah.
Like the comment section on Facebook was like a joke among all the servers.
Yeah. Because it was just like, they were so mad.
Oh, it was insane.
Didn't they bring it back?
I don't know. I haven't been there in a minute.
I think the people won and they got it back. They got what they
hate that.
wanted.
I like low-key hate that. As a former server bartender, I hate it.
Yeah, they wanted. Maybe I'm wrong though, but I thought I heard that because I have a buddy of mine whose mom or mother-in-law was one of those that was like, "This is ridiculous," like made a big deal about it. I can't remember which one it was, but so it was at that conversation where you heard about what Safe House was doing, and then you went back down to Nashville, right?
Yeah. So I had come home. I came home for a month because I was working a remote job. So I worked up here for a month. Like it was like the Christmas, New Year's Eve time. Christmas Eve is a big thing in our family. So I try as much as I can to get home for that. And I remember coming here and like seeing the whole grounds at Safe House and being like, what is happening in here? Like, this is not what I even would have expected is in your realm. And I can just remember being like, oh my God, if I ever move home, I would want to work here.
Yeah. And then it was, you moved back, and then I started thinking, because this was all happening at the same time, I wasn't in the position I'm in now. I hadn't taken over for Dad yet as the like executive director, CEO of the just Safe House. Mm-hmm. And some of the other companies hadn't been founded yet.
Right.
Like it's happened in the last couple of years. And so I kept on thinking to myself, though, if we're going to do some of the things that we have planned, I'm going to need like an assistant type. And I've always, this is stupid, but I've always had a problem with the term assistant because it feels like it's like a less than position, but an executive assistant is so crucial, so important that I wanted to find somebody who I felt like, you know, the typical kind of type A, like super organized, like would dive in and be really passionate. And I remember like the remote jobs, you were talking to me about them, and the way that you talked about them, you talked about them like you had started them. Like you were like, I want to do good at this. Like you had a good work ethic. I remember you telling stories about like the job market down in Florida and the job market down in Nashville. And I remember thinking like people up here couldn't survive some of the high stress, like high pressure situations in like a big city corporate like situation. Mm-hmm. And I just remember I kind of half floated a half joke of like, if you ever move back up this way, like I might have an opportunity for you. And I don't remember what you said. I think it was just like I think I texted that. And then it was like a week later.
I was like, I actually think I'm moving home.
You did say,
is that job for real?
You said, how serious were you about that? And I remember thinking, oh my gosh, I got her, right? You know? Mm-hmm. And so we worked it out, and it was within maybe 3 months of that you were moving back up here.
I came home in January, and then I think, because I moved around April is when I got settled in up here.
And so I took over that. Your first day we moved my office from where it was into the office that I sit in now.
We literally packed your dad's stuff up and put the boxes outside. No, I'm just kidding.
We did. We didn't put them outside. I put them in my car and I took them to my garage. And
we love you, Pastor Bob.
They sat there for months before he can come get them.
I remember I walked in there and I was like, what is this fish on the wall?
Yeah, he had his tarpon.
And now it's right over there,
It
right?
says he has an office in this building now. And so I literally texted him or called him and I said, hey, are you good if I move into your office? And he said, what? I said, you know how we've been talking about transitioning you out of your role and me being the CEO. So we moved into my office that day. And then I'm going to pick on you a minute because you were like, I need a desk. And I said, oh, I got it for you, but you got to put it together. And then you put it together backwards.
I forgot about that. Oh my God. Yeah.
And you didn't fix it.
No,
You just
no.
said, this is the way that the desk is going
How
to sit
could I?
now.
I had no time. We fired a guy on my first day.
Oh, I wasn't going to bring that up.
Oh, sorry.
No,
We
I'm
can
just
edit
kidding.
that out.
No, we could talk about it. We did. And I mean, unfortunately, part of the responsibility of being an employer and having leadership is that you have to let some people go when they're not doing it. And the kitchen was dark that day when it was supposed to have people in it, and kids were not going to get fed unless we got creative and we figured it out.
Right.
But I had to let that guy go that day because that was not the first offense. And this was like the thing. And I felt so bad for you. I said, you good? You get settled? I said, follow me. We got to go. I said it. I think I said, we got to go fire somebody.
Yeah. Like I've always known Andy as this like funny, like, hey, what's up? Like goofy, like the fun guy. And I remember you grabbed me being like, we got to go fire somebody. Are you good? And I'm like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
So Loki had loved it. No,
we pulled him. Yeah. It's like, we're getting into the deep end right away. And so, we had to let that fella go. And, you were a trooper. Like you sat there and I remember you were at your computer and you were just like, I really don't want to be in this office right now, but you did fine. Like, I mean, it was awkward and weird and it's always bad. And
it was worse for me when you and your dad would fight in your office. Then that was more awkward for me than watching somebody get fired.
It's funny because I mean, it was probably 3 or 4 months that you worked in my office because it was a lot of that assistant type work. And I'm so bad at delegating that kind of stuff that you really took initiative and were like, this is what I'm going to do. You have to let me do this and I'm going to do this. And then eventually it got to a place where you were taking on so many tasks. You had great initiative and you were like, it would be super helpful for me from a, like, get the task done standpoint if I had an office. Like, I'm still just a text away, but if I could just be able to close my door and knock out these tasks. And so we set that up. And then from there, actually, it turned into what you're doing now. And so this is really big, long, like thing where I'd love you to kind of lay out all the things that you do. So you're working for essentially 3 different of the entities. And then your super major component to the podcast, which is tasks. So there's 4 different projects, I guess we can say, that you're tackling. So tell everybody what it is that you're working on.
Yeah, so I feel like with the podcast right now, I'm just kind of like hanging out, listening. I feel like a little bit more of my work will come later down the line when we get like more strategy and content. But for the podcast, it'll be more of like social media, getting guests on, scheduling that, stuff like that. And then for Safe House, I run the student council program. We're trying to transition it into like a real good mentorship program that's very legit for the kids. We bring typically 2 to 4 girls, 2 to 4 boys on, and they help run things on the campus. They organize events, try to make the campus better, essentially.
And they kind of represent the other kids too.
Yeah, they're a voice for them.
Yeah.
And then what are the other ones? There's so many jobs.
You do DMR.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's hard. You got to carry around a cheat sheet.
Yeah, DMR is our food service company. We offer catering, and then they also do the kitchen food at Safe House. So kind of like running HR for all of them. We're currently building out a commercial kitchen in the refuge building to run outside catering jobs in. So kind of organizing that with you and your dad. And then what's the last one? Refuge.
You manage the rentals.
Where I spend 90% of my time. Yeah, all of the rentals. Refuge it used to be an after school program. I'll let Andy talk about that. COVID kind of had a little hiccup there, but now we just rent the building on the weekends. I manage all the contracts, the payments, tours with the different guests. I work with the cleaning crew. Just kind of getting everything, pretty much just managing the building and the property.
Right.
There's a baseball building out back. I don't manage that, but we'll work to kind of schedule some things out there too for other people. And yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah, that's it. He said that like, yeah. And then I go home and I've got all of this free time.
Yeah.
And you got 2 cats.
Yes, Jack and Diane. Oh my God, I miss them. I'll start crying right now.
So you get to snuggle with them later.
Yes.
And then, yeah, I wanted to bring you on and I asked you to sit in on this. Today was the worst possible day to do it because the last 2 days have been field days at Safe House, and it's been 2 of the hottest days of the week. And it's just been a lot. So you were great and awesome trooper to come in and sit down. We're both
you were running around today too.
We had lots of meetings. And so the week leading up to vacation is always a little extra chaotic and try to get everything done, which is weird. I don't know if you do this, but when you go to travel, which we're going to talk about travel here in a second, but when you go to travel, do you think like you have to get stuff done before you travel that if you weren't traveling, you would have never thought to do? Like, I'm going to repair every window in my house because I'm going to be gone for a week. Now you don't do like you live in an apartment building that's got maintenance or whatever, but that's the thing I'm talking about. Are you thinking I've always wanted to start a blog and I'm going to somehow do it while I'm gone or before I leave? There's this weird thing that I have where I'll try to accomplish things before I leave that if I wasn't leaving wouldn't even be on the radar.
Well, I'm currently planning because I'm going to Japan for 3 weeks. So we leave mid-October, come back in November. So I have 2 calendars that I've been working on. One calendar is all of the care for my cats, which most people think it's not that hard to take care of cats, but I have like my niece coming to stay with them.
Yeah.
I have 2 different people taking care of them in my building. They get this special food. It's like a whole thing. So I'm planning that calendar with them, making sure that they're taken care of. And then my work calendar, trying to plan like all of these people to cover my job has been something that I never thought I would have to do. Like, it's just crazy to be gone that long.
Right.
And I don't want to come back to chaos.
Yeah.
So between all those 4 different positions, trying to find, okay, somebody has to take care of this, this, and this. Because I'm really trying not to open my laptop while I'm there. It's going to be a whole time zone difference, but I'm going to bring it.
Are you taking it?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like a comfort thing.
I guess that makes sense. I mean, I take my laptop when we travel.
And plus, like, I'm going to be on a flight for 13 hours. Like, I could get something done.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, if you want to. You can also read.
I could also watch Netflix and fall asleep.
You could also download a bunch of movies.
Yeah.
Is the flight 13 hours?
Yeah, so we fly to, I think, Texas. I fly to Florida first because all of the people I'm going with live in Florida.
Yeah.
And I refuse to fly internationally by myself. I'm not that much of a pro. So we're going from Florida to, I want to say Dallas, and then from Dallas straight to Tokyo.
Wow. Mm-hmm. That's a long flight. Brandon, you ever fly?
No, I usually just drive.
Oh, we don't. Yeah. If you haven't watched the episode where we talked about the fish travels, that's that throwback. I queued that one up good for you.
Yeah, that was
did.
perfect.
You set me up.
I did. That was really good. I was legitimately asking if you like to fly, and your answer, I was like, man, if I just play this off, this looks like a perfect bit. But then I ruined it by being legitimately. Mute your mic. Okay.
So good.
It was funny.
If you didn't see that episode, the joke is Brandon has to travel for Replay, which is one of the other companies, and they're always wanting to kind of try to fly if they can.
Yeah.
Especially if it's long hours, and Andy's makes them drive, so that's the joke.
So Brandon likes to fly. He just doesn't get to do it that
every
often.
once in a while. Did you have a follow-up question to that?
Well,
actually?
I did, but it's over now.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just let it go. I was just going to say, can you imagine a 13-hour flight? Like, I feel like at that point, like, I mean, you can't drive to Japan and it would, but a 13-hour flight, it's like, there's no convenience. This is just the only way to get here.
Yeah.
At that point, it's not about comfort or convenience.
No.
Because are you going to be one of those planes where you can like kick your feet up? Or are we talking about like Delta Economy Plus? Like, what are you going to be?
Well, if you give me a raise, I could probably get.
This isn't.
I could probably get first class to Japan
now, boss.
This isn't the Amorites. What is that airline that has like all the beds and stuff?
This is me, Brandon, and Ryan trying to form a union, essentially.
Oh God.
No, I'm just kidding.
We are experiencing a bunch of technical difficulties.
No, I'm flying.
What?
I'm flying
Say it again.
economy, but we got the extra leg room.
Okay.
Which you have to pay a lot of money for that going to Japan, which
I can't imagine.
Worth it.
So when you're in the area, you're going to be able to get up. I mean, I know how flights go, so you can like walk around and like you're going to get at least probably 2 meals, right?
Yeah. So I did 13 hours to Italy. I think it was 12 or 13. And they gave us the whatever meal that you were on. It was like falling. It was like breakfast or dinner and
Yeah.
lunch, whatever. They gave it to us, which was actually really good on the way to Italy.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. But I have compression socks I wear, make myself walk around.
Yeah,
Like
I can't imagine that.
my legs swell. I can't handle it.
We're going to talk a little bit more about this in a future episode, and I'll have maybe you sit in on part of that segment. But I mentioned my oldest friend who is hilarious, and she's going to Zoom in from Texas. We're still going to work out the details about when she's going to be on. But there was a stint in her career, in her like lifespan, where she was a flight attendant.
Oh, that's so cool.
I don't know if she ever did international flight. Like, I don't know how that works, but you could bet I'm going to ask her about this now, because I can't imagine. Like, I mean, people go to work and they're like, oh, I'm working 8 hours today. Or like, man, I'm working a 10-hour shift. Flight attendant's like, I'm working a 13-hour flight. Like, that's just wild to think about.
My younger self would have thought that that was appealing, but as I get older, I get really claustrophobic. So the thought, like, I don't have any problems flying. Like, flying itself is not scary to me. It's just like knowing that I'm in the plane, I have to talk my anxiety out of being like, I can't get fresh air.
Yeah.
Because then I start having a little bit of a panic attack.
Yeah.
And I'm in the middle. And I know we talked about that last week, and that's why I was on Brandon's side.
That you deserve
the middle seat for 13 hours.
You deserve the window. You deserve the row in front of you, the row behind you.
Yeah, I'm controlling everything.
And so I'm excited for you. You deserve it. I'm glad that you get to go and
thank you for giving me the time off.
Oh gosh. Yeah. That wasn't like say more. I'm just kidding. That's not me fishing for a compliment, but no, seriously, it's been a blast. It's been 2.5, 3, April will be 3 years.
April will be 3 years.
And it feels like you've never not worked here. And it feels like it's just getting started at the same time.
Yeah, I agree.
And so, we're in the process right now of looking for some help for you and some of your tasks that you do, because the role is growing, I think. There's some opportunities for some growth in DMR. There's some opportunities for growth clearly in how, because we try to model what we do at Safe House to help that to serve if other residentials are interested in what we find is working. I'm super interested in trying to help the state, and how it holds the residentials accountable for doing service for these kiddos, because I've been saying this in trainings for a long time and in meetings for a long time. The best way to do residential services has not yet been figured out. And I think that like a resident council, like we're doing, is part of one of those components where it's like, there's a way to do this like really well. There's a way to get the voices of the kids heard. There's a way to provide incentive-based stuff. And the team that we have over at Safe House is phenomenal.
You really see it in action, like on days like today, where we're doing like these events and like everybody's coming together, which is really cool.
Super cool. And so what I'm going to ask this, and I didn't prep you for this, so I apologize you're a future planner, right? You've got vision boards, and you got quarterly goals. Every year you zoom in on what you want to tackle this year. I want to just have you pull like kind of from your brain, like what's next for Ali? Like what's coming up? What's coming down the pipeline? What are you setting up for yourself? And I'm just going to disclaimer that if it doesn't include, the job, I don't want to hear it.
Oh, okay.
You have to only work for some of these companies forever.
That's fine. I have 4 different answers for all 4 different companies.
No, I do. If it doesn't have to do with the company, I do want to hear it. That was my way of saying that you can never not work. I almost say for me, but you're working with me. We're all working together.
Yeah.
But it's a joke, everybody. She gets to make her own decisions. I'm just kidding. So hit me. What do you got? What's next for Ali?
Well, for the residential program is something that's like the most passionate for me, because the student council program, I get to really kind of spend a lot of time with the kiddos. That's the only way. Otherwise, I'm mostly just operational. So I'm really excited to grow that. We're going to start implementing one-on-one meetings with all of the kids so I can get like good check-ins with them, their grades, where their mental health is, like if there's anything that they want to talk about that they're afraid to bring up around the other kids. So the goal for that, for my long term, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but like I want us to offer it to other residentials. I know you just said kind of a little bit about that, but I want us to be able to get that out there so that it's like a whole leadership program across the board, and it's its own version of the company where we can then go into other residentials, help correct some stuff. The things that we've really found that work operationally, we kind of implement it there with the kiddos.
Right.
So that's really like what I'm most passionate about. And I know you had brought up that we're trying to hire help, which also, now that you had said like it's weird to say that you have an assistant, when I was trying to like hire for this, I'm like, I hate calling it an assistant, like an admin assistant.
It feels weird.
Yeah, I just want to say like I'm just hiring somebody to help me.
Yeah.
Like
assistant. I mean, it's not fair though, because assistant is not a less than. It's not it's an important role. I don't know why I have the stigma. I don't treat an assistant like I don't know.
No, I'm just kidding.
She said, bet.
No.
I just have like this like 50s Mad Men style definition in my head where they were like mistreated. You know what I mean? And it's like, no, that's not like, it's an important role. Like it's an assistant. It assists in doing the task that an executive or a high level person needs or whatever. And it's an important role to the whole company. So I don't know. We'll work on that together. I guess we'll need an assistant to help us.
No, but honestly, like I feel like now that I'm taking on so much more at a high level, the things on like the front lines that I'm supposed to be doing, I keep like, it's so hard to remember everything that like really without an assistant, like they're the kind of the backbone of most of this high level work.
Right.
So it is a very important position.
Yeah.
Personally, I really want to get into buying like storage units.
Yeah, you're talking about like the side hustle, like the passive income style, like business models and things like that.
Yeah, I would like to buy some storage units somewhere, invest in that. That's probably where I'm going to try to shift money towards at some point. And then that way I just have that working for me on the side.
Yeah.
Kind of can build some like operational knowledge there as well. But yeah, I think I've told you this before, but I'm really good at setting goals during like the year.
Yeah.
During the quarters even, I break down my quarterly goals. But I don't know if this is like a trauma thing. I can't set like a 10-year goal.
Yeah.
I haven't set a 10-year goal ever. And I don't know if it's like a childhood trauma blocking thing. Yeah. But yeah, I don't have anything.
There's something really interesting about that. And I alluded to it. I don't remember if it was episode 2 or 3, but I remember my mom telling me a story about how she would cry with me because she didn't know if we were going to have tomorrow. And there's something very sad about that. Like there's a reality that we're not promised tomorrow. Everybody knows that. It's like every popular pop song. It's every popular, like there's this concept that take advantage of today because we're not promised tomorrow. But the issue that comes with that is like, if that's not built into the fact that like you can still plan for tomorrow, do you know what I mean? For me, it was like this religious trauma of like the end times and the rapture, right? And the Lord is coming back. Jesus is going to coming back. So be ready, right? And there's this constant concept of don't worry about 20 years from now because the Lord's coming back. But then there's this other thing where there's this, if it's not religious, there's this severe trauma where it's like, there's a very real possibility if something doesn't change, I might die. You know what I mean? Like I'm on a path that leads to no opportunity or prison or death or whatever. Do you know what I mean? Or addiction or whatever the trauma might be. And so I'm not saying that any of those are yours, but I do know a little bit of your story. And so it doesn't surprise me to hear where it's like, it's hard to project out 10 years because you spent so much of formative years of your life just trying to get through the day.
Yes, 100%. I think like that's probably the majority of it.
Yeah.
And then I think the other of it is maybe just like my ADHD to like put down all of these goals in 10 years and then it completely shifted. Yeah. I'm like, why did I just waste my time doing that? I'm too busy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think too, another thing that comes with it too, is that if you're an ADHD person, that's a weird way to say it. If you're a person who has ADHD, the volume of thinking 10 years ahead, like it can be very anxiety inducing because you
overwhelming.
Think not only do I have to come up with it, but I also have to live with that because if I don't do it exactly like that, I've failed.
Yeah. You know? It's like debilitating
it's a very
almost.
Type A thing where it's like a better opportunity can present itself that you'll say no to because this is my 10-year goal. You know what I mean? So there's something to be said about that too. And I think it's important, you know, for anybody who's listening, like, you know, to identify, you know, what that looks like. Cause I would encourage you even just sitting here where it's like, well, yeah, I didn't know that. Like you should take some time and like dive into that. You know what I mean? You should figure out if that is a trauma thing or if it's an ADHD thing or if it's a combination of both. Because yeah, you're great at planning. I mean, I'll walk into your office and everything is in columns and color coded and you got Post-it notes for this and calendars for that. And, but I've never thought about what's 10 years look like. because that's just never come up.
Yeah.
But I get it, because I remember one of the reasons why it took me forever to even do this is because I thought, what's it matter? Like, what does it matter if in a couple years anyway? Like, it's not going to matter. And I missed the moment that it matters now.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And so there's something to be said about what I can't remember who said it, and I'm going to get the quote wrong, and I apologize. But it was almost like we underestimate what we can do in a day and we overestimate what we can do in a year.
Mm-hmm.
And if we just woke up and we said, I'm going to just go and I'm going to try to accomplish these tasks towards this goal, whatever it is, whether it's a fitness goal or a professional goal or a relationship goal. And we just said, I'm going to chase after this. I'm not going to stop till I'm done. When I'm done, I'm going to go rest and sleep and refresh. You're going to accomplish so much more in a year than if you sat down and you said, this is what I'm going to do from now, and this is where I'm going to be a year from now.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, I mean, super cool.
Yeah.
It's nice to have some plans.
Yeah.
So, well, I won't keep you forever. I want to just say thanks again. Is there
I'm
anything?
done already.
Yeah, I mean,
went
we've
fast.
been going for at least a half hour, 45 minutes.
Love it.
Yeah, we covered almost the whole time. So I'm going to take a quick break, and then I'm going to wrap up with just kind of a shorter like tail end segment. But I want to say thanks for helping. You've helped me make a lot of sense out of things on the professional level. It's been great watching you. And I say this, and I don't want to be like too like whatever pandering. I don't want this to sound cheesy, but I want to say it because I say it to you personally. But I'm really proud of you.
Thank you.
It's fun to I remember seeing you in distraught times as a young teenager, and you said a lot like, I don't know how I'm gonna get you really thought that moment was it.
It was catastrophic in the moment.
You're never gonna get over it, and your life is now defined by this. And to see where you're at now is super cool. And when I hired you, it was because I knew what you're capable of. And to see you living way beyond that is even cooler. So good job.
Thank you. And thank you for just taking a chance and hiring me and having me on today.
Yeah. And she's not just saying that because she gets paid. I feel like that's genuine. What do you think, Brandon?
I think she's saying
Mute your mic. I'm just kidding. Go ahead. Say it. What are you going to say?
I think she's doing it because she's getting paid.
I knew he was going to say that.
Brandon is, I just wanted to say something because he made me feel bad about the flight thing.
What?
He made me feel bad about the flight thing.
Oh, no.
I'm so sad.
They love
you
driving.
You told me to rib you. You told me to be the podcast villain.
And now
here I am
I'm
going
to make you feel bad about it. And I really don't feel bad. I just want it to be awkward in the microphone for a moment.
We should actually do a segment where they do appropriate, of course, road trip tales of things they've experienced.
There's none that would make air. They're all inappropriate.
The first one comes to mind is incredibly inappropriate.
Is that the one that you told me about at Havana House?
Yeah, about Rick.
Oh, no.
We won't talk about Rick.
Listen, one of these days we're going to talk. We've already talked about how Brandon got hired and all that kind of stuff. And the reason I wanted to do this segment with Ali is because there's 4 people in this room. I met Ryan through the replay stuff. I knew Ali from a different life. I said it like
feels like it.
I knew Ali from a completely different situation. I've known Brandon from a completely different situation. And to have them on this team doing this, I mean, they're employees, they work for me, yes, but they're peers. We're chasing these ideas together. It's so much more fun to work with people that you like. So as we wrap up this section, to both of you, thanks for just being good people. And for doing good work. It's fun to do this stuff with you.
Of course.
And thanks for always making sure sound and video is good.
Yeah,
of course. I could never.
That's what we do.
With that, Ali, thanks so much.
Thank you so
We're going to
much.
have you on again, of course. And then you go hug those cats and snuggle and get some rest after a hard day's work. And we'll be right back. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Does That Make Sense? Episode 4. Unbelievable. Episode 4. So we just had Ali on. Super cool. She's great. We're happy to have her on the team. I want to just follow up on one thing. I had said it when we were talking about how I met my wife, and which sounds a lot like How I Met Your Mother, and I can't not think of the theme song when I say How I Met My Wife. I also won't ever take 10 years to tell a story that is hot take, ends really badly.
Yeah, not that hot of a take. It made me mad too.
Yeah, what a terrible ending to a show. Come at me at the comments if you disagree.
Yeah, I could Robin, take her or leave her. Come on now.
I mean, I think we're right. The original mom was the OG best mom.
Oh yeah,
they killed her off just for Robin.
Yep.
Spoiler alert.
Yep.
If you haven't seen it, that's your own fault.
Yeah, it is your fault.
Okay, so I did want to say though, because like I went to those football games and I had no intention of meeting somebody, and I joked and I was like flirting with all the single whatever, and I just want to say this thing because I think it says a lot. Ali never intended when she would come to me for like a life advice type situation. She never thought she'd work in this situation. We never thought. Life is full of crazy moments. Life is full of opportunities. I've said it in previous episodes that we can't control anything that happens to us, right? We have very little control about what happens when on the outside of this thing here, like the decisions that we make. But we do have a lot of control what we do with those situations, and that's the big difference maker. And that's what separates people who, and I don't want to say success or failure because I fail. Like it's not this magic bullet, but and sometimes there needs to be some therapy or some counseling or some medication because what's going on up here, we don't have as much control over. But I do want to say that when we're faced with situations that feel like they're completely gone, that they're out of our control, Ali did what a lot of people won't do. And she called somebody and she said, "Hey, I'm not in a great space. And you help." I mean, it was 8 years, I think, from the last time that she and I talked about that. She was a completely different person. I was a completely different person. And I mean, I went from being married for just a little bit to married for a long time. I didn't have kids when she was first going through that stuff, or if I did, they were very young. And so, it was a random night and she just called and said, "This is so weird. If you don't have time, I'm so sorry." And I looked at my wife and I said, "I'm just going to take a few minutes." And I walked outside and I talked to Ali and I went back in and I explained to my wife, "This is just the basic stuff. If you don't want that to happen after hours, I'll have her call a different time." And there was all kind of conversations that happened. And so I just want to say this because people listen to this and I've got nice people that are sending messages or whatever. If you're going through something, call somebody, like talk to somebody, because you never have any idea what kind of situation you might be able to find your way out of if you just reach out, and if I don't know you or if we don't know each other, call somebody, call somebody that you can trust. And if you don't have anybody you can trust, call somebody just talk to somebody, right? Find a counselor, find a service. There's things that you could get online and chat with somebody. Like just don't do it by yourself. Right. And I just want to say that I want to be encouraging because like I would not be sitting here. I would not have my wife. I would not have 3 kids. And it wouldn't be the wife I have, and it wouldn't be the kids I have if I didn't just look at a situation and go, all right, like this is the cards that I'm dealt. What am I going to do about this? And Ali, the same thing. This is the cards that I'm dealt. Who can I reach out to? Who can I talk to? And so I just, don't allow your situation to dictate your decision about that situation. It's going to dictate how you feel. It's going to dictate what happens to you. You could lose a job. You could get a breakup. There's a lot of things that could happen that do affect you, but it doesn't dictate what you do about it. And so do something to put some sort of support around you. And that's all I want to say. And with that, Brandon, I want to switch gears real quick.
Okay.
Somebody messaged us on YouTube, and I want to talk about it.
Uh-oh.
Because they added a director that they were mad we didn't include.
Oh, and I saw it, and I'm also mad we didn't include him.
And I thought if we would have included him, it would have changed.
It would have.
And the director was Martin Scorsese.
Yep.
And I thought it's almost an egregious, like I don't even know how you can include. You're going to leave one great one out.
Yeah.
If you only have 4. So.
Well, you know which one I would have gotten rid of to throw him in there.
Who?
Spielberg.
You wouldn't have even put Spielberg in the 4?
No, I mean, honestly, Ari Aster shouldn't have been in there if they were actually going to be 4 the greatest of all time.
If you're talking about the Mount Rushmore of directors, Ari Aster's not included.
He shouldn't have been up there, but I wanted to make it a little bit harder.
And I want to say something, too, about my thinking about this, because this is an important discussion, because we're talking about art and people making art. I wouldn't get rid of Spielberg's movies.
Mm-mm.
I would just say, okay, if this director's not going to make any more, that would be okay with me.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean? And then somebody else made an interesting point that if you're not going to get rid of the movies, Quentin Tarantino only has 1 movie left if he sticks to his thing about making only 10 movies?
Yeah.
So he wouldn't be included in this person's 4 because 1 movie is not worth giving up the other ones that we could get out of it.
Yes.
What do you think of that?
No, Tarantino's still not going anywhere.
He's like, I want one of his over.
What's funny
whatever.
is even if he'd already directed the 10th movie,
you still would have kept him in, even though there's no more movies.
You know, you never know what he's going to do next.
I really hope he's not done after 10.
He's probably going to get into more TV, theater, writing stuff. So if he does do any more direction, according to him, it won't be with film stuff. It's going to be more like television and this and that. So,
right.
So he's not done creating, but he says he's done making movies because, well, I mean, look at Spielberg. After you hit your 10th movie, you know, for most directors, it goes downhill.
Right.
Spielberg's well past his 10th movie. Scorsese's well past his 10th movie.
Yeah.
Ari Aster's not even close.
Not even close. And the reason why I kept Ari Aster is not because of I think the movies are better. It's because I think the ceiling is higher for him than the ceiling of any of the other three.
Yes.
And I want to see what that is.
And out of all of them, I'd say that I think Nolan surpassed his 10, and he's still hitting. If I'm not mistaken, I think he's done more than 10 now, especially with all 3 Batman movies and then all the other movies that he's done. I mean, Prestige, Dunkirk, Tenet, like Inception.
Yeah. Maybe one day we'll get the directors that we put, we'll line up the movies and we'll rank them.
Yeah.
Because, like, I haven't even seen Tenet.
Yeah.
So
you're all right. Unless you want to be really confused for a couple hours.
Real quick, just for, I mean, story of my life.
Yeah.
Where I'm going to put you on the spot.
Okay.
And I think that you know this answer really quickly.
Yeah, I probably will.
And I'm just going to rapid fire it.
Okay.
Favorite Quentin Tarantino movie?
I actually don't know that right off the bat. It's a little bit tougher of a question because it's like asking a person who likes movies what their favorite movie is for me.
Or like a parent, which kid do you like the best?
Yeah, well, even that might be a little easier. No, I would probably go with it's somewhere.
When you're done, I'm going to read this next thing from the same person. So go ahead.
Okay, yeah, no, I'm going to have to go with. It's hard to not say Pulp Fiction, but I'm going to have to say that and have Django Unchained be such a very close second
man.
that it's tough.
Yeah, it's hard not to. When I watched Hateful Eight, I was blown away.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I don't know if it'd be my favorite, but it stuck with me more.
I think it's underrated as a film.
I agree.
Yeah, at least out of his, a lot of people don't like Hateful Eight. Some people will say Hateful Eight's his worst. I think Death Proof is, but it was a grindhouse movie. It's a little cornier than his other ones.
I mean, that B movie thing, he like leaned into it. That was really the whole marketing. It was all,
which was the point. I needed to give it another chance. I didn't like Kill Bill when I first watched it because the same thing. It was very like cartoony and like.
Yeah, there was a lot of. I was in college when Kill Bill came out, and it was all anybody talked about.
Yeah.
And but then I saw Hateful Eight not when it was new. It was recently, and I remember thinking like, man, I could probably watch Once Upon a Time in Hollywood daily.
Yeah, that's a really good movie.
With you.
That is such a good movie. Hateful Eight was a fun one because that was actually supposed to be a play. He was writing it as a play, and so many fans leaked his stuff and leaked the script and this and that he just got like furious, kicked and stomped his feet. He's like, guess what? Nothing's happening with it now. I'm going to tank the whole thing.
Right.
And then he ended up making a movie out of it, which is why it all takes place in one location because it's like a play.
It would be designed for the stage.
Exactly.
Yeah, interesting. So the same person, it was Brandon Lazinko because we mentioned him by name on the podcast. We were talking about this. He had this thought. He goes, I got one for you. Dane Cook, Carlos Mencia, Larry the Cable Guy, and Michael Richard post Seinfeld. Which one do you keep?
All right, because I was right away. I was like, Mencia is gone, but now that
which one do
read
you
him again? I'm sorry.
Which one do you keep? Dane Cook, Carlos Mencia, Larry the Cable Guy, and Michael Richards post Seinfeld.
Michael Richards is tough, dude. He's gonna have to go.
He knew what he was doing. Like he had time to think about this.
Yeah.
So which one do you keep?
I'm gonna keep Dane Cook.
I would probably keep. Looking back, I've laughed more out loud in real time. Like this is the thing about Dane Cook though, is that like now I don't know if I would laugh as much. Like I don't know if I'd find that style of comedy funny.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was such a dude comedy style, you know, very like frat boy, very, very much like guys kind of wanted to be him and girls wanted to be with him kind of comedy.
Well, he's put under the gun a lot for not having punchlines at the end of his jokes, just a lot of really good tags and just energy. But I don't think that's true.
I think his physical comedy is a little bit underrated, honestly, because some of the bits that I would watch, it's because he's moving funny, like it's a funny style.
Who's the one after Mencia?
Larry the Cable Guy.
Oh yeah, I mean,
which seems like shallow comedy, like it's like not multi-layered for me. And I'm sitting here in a podcast room that I put together, I've never had to stand in front of a room and make people laugh. And he's clearly does it. So I'm fully aware of my limitations here. But if we're talking about which one you got to keep, I'm probably keeping Larry the Cable Guy.
You're going to keep Larry. I'm going to probably keep Dane Cook and I do think Larry the Cable Guy is really funny. I think he's got a shtick like Bert Kreischer. But I don't think the shtick makes him less funny as much as it makes him a little bit less. It takes away some of his integrity.
So we're going to put a poll out and we're going to see what everybody else thinks.
Yeah.
But Brandon, thanks for that.
Absolutely.
Idea. That was awesome.
Absolutely.
So, all right, guys, that's the wrap for episode 4. Thank you so much for tuning in. Stay tuned. _A Denon is the TikTok. A Denon is the Instagram. DTMS.podcast is the podcast Instagram. And then I'm working on a website, adenon.com, that you can see all these videos, all the stuff, and we're going to do some more polls and fun games. And I write a blog and, self-help stuff and the encouraging thing, challenging thing, fun stuff. So we're going to just kind of keep making this a thing and get into it. So stay tuned for next week, episode 5, and we'll see you then. Thanks so much.